31% of the people that we surveyed said this. They said, we will buy an electric car when they are cheaper. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is under £250 a month. It's also, I think, the best Puma you can get, and I'll explain why. But would you buy this car?
This is really important. Despite this being very good, it also has one glaring flaw. And it's not that it's yellow. Something much more obvious. So, with this in mind, have Ford done enough to tempt you?
You obviously already know about the enormous amount of room that you get, 37% more than a Golf. That's this. They call it a Gigabox, which will fit an extra large suitcase, loads of shopping if you can afford the bill, and or a pram, maybe your nan's chair. It also comes with special technology. It should mean you'll never get caught speeding ever again. No speeding tickets, no gear lever, no handbrake, no noise. Yeah. Although I wouldn't commit any crime of any sort in this. It's very easy to find.
And this bit matters. Not only is the Puma driven by more people here than any other car, but this particular version isn't just improved, it's shockingly cheaper than the petrol one, as you're about to find out.
To remind you just how young and vibrant you are, have a look at this cabin. Yes, it's the same sort of size and the same design as the normal Puma, but there's a few extra bits, the detail, things like the bits of leather. And have a look at this backup camera, because this is the clearest backup camera I have seen in a car for a very long time. When you switch the car on, you get a little growl. I think that's meant to be like a Puma growling. It's good. And then if you look here, here it is. Look at that. That is what I would call a very crisp camera, and you can see all the different modes with the camera, which is perfect for the city. Yes, this is a town car. Long journeys, this is not. Now, Ford say this is deliberate because they've got a small battery in it, which is half the size than pretty much every other car, actually, and their range is 233 miles around town. Now, if you are doing short trips, that seems like quite a lot. Should we see how realistic that is? So let's have a look. At the moment, this is 70% and 153 miles. So that would be 219 miles on a full charge at 100%. Okay, what do we think of that? Here's the trip energy menu. This tells you how much is climate, route, accessories, and so on. And they've done a really good job with this as well, I think. You've got two modes. You've got a dark mode and a light mode, but I think this is great. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, of course. But do you need it? I like this. Look, when you press this, the map suddenly becomes full screen, and then the radio is there. How many cars have radio?
Now, before you jump in the comments and tell me your toothbrush has a bigger battery, yeah, very funny. I haven't even touched the surface on the bits I like about this. How nice it is to drive around, or the fact that Ford are almost prepared to come round your house and give you one of these for free.
I said this was the best Puma you could get. Why did I say that? Well, actually, there's two reasons. There's probably more than two reasons, but the first two are ride. They've done something to the suspension. Because this car is heavier than every other Puma, they've had to do something with the suspension, which makes this ride an awful lot better than all of the Pumas, which to me are a bit bumpy, particularly the ST Line X, which is also the only way you will get those wheels. Ride and wheels are everything. Okay, Ford, find a charging station.
Which item would you like?
Nationwide? That's a bank. No, I need... Oh no, there's one. There we are. Okay, plot
Here's
point.
what I found.
Thank you.
You can say, set as destination.
Although it will input your destinations by voice, also, you probably won't be using it, largely because you'll be doing short trips. Built for the city, you see. Ford, go further. But also, to stay local. And you won't be using charging stations. Probably at all.
Exactly, because every Gen E owner at the time of filming will get a free home charger with one of these and 10,000 free miles, which is lovely because then that's a saving of £2,795. Yeah, that's brilliant. So take that off of your first 2 years of PCP payments. This becomes £233 a month, and that's £70 cheaper than a petrol. Cheaper to buy and nicer to drive. It isn't the fastest at charging though. 100 kilowatts of charge. Now obviously you'll be doing it from home because it's all about budget this. You won't want to be spending 79p or 89p per kilowatt hour. but there are chargers that can do 150, 200, and that's annoying. However, because the battery's small, it doesn't really matter, because Ford say 10 to 80% is still only about 23 minutes, which makes it about the same as anything else. So what about the motorway then? Ford say that in mild conditions on the motorway, the range drops significantly. That's concerning. If there was any reason not to buy this car, it would be that. But then on the other side of the coin, you've got the fact that there's no running costs, and it's cheap to insure, and it's £233 a month. And it's the only electric car that I've done recently that has a sunroof that lets the sun shine.
It's not just always about how far you can go, especially when you can have the wind in your hair and drive something that makes you and everyone who gets in it feel good and modern. And in reality, most people will probably only need to plug this in maybe once a fortnight.
You get 8 years on the battery or 100,000 miles, and with one of these you get 5 years free servicing and 5 years breakdown, which is great if you run out. One thing you will get with this, which you don't get with the normal Puma, is of course one pedal driving. If you don't like one pedal drive, you can actually switch it off and drive this just like a normal car. But one pedal drive, just for brevity, if you don't know, is where the car starts to slow down for you when you lift off the accelerator. It's all to do with the regen, but it's also a very good safety feature because the car has started braking before you put your foot onto the brake. It's also very good if you're driving from one side of a city to another. In fact, I would challenge a normal Puma driver to drive through London in their Puma and then drive through London in this and see how much better it is in this. Efficiency is worth a mention because this has slightly better efficiency than some electric cars. Now that works in a bit like miles per gallon. So even though the battery is small, what you're getting from that battery is really quite competitive. It's a bit like having a car with a smaller petrol tank that does better economy. And as for room, well, yeah, you're not going to be carrying me, are you? But I do like the fact that this is a double roof.
So if Ford were thinking this is the ideal car for a new driver maybe, or a multi-car family, they might have just absolutely smashed it. It drives and feels more expensive than a significant number of others. That's the truth. And when you consider all the costs and their offer, it's probably also cheaper than getting a used one.
This is odd though. I can actually feel some feedback at slow speeds on this steering wheel. So it's almost as if I can feel a servo moving, and that's not something I've experienced before. That is the speed limit there. If I press the limit button now, the automatic speed limiter will start, and that means that the car will not go faster than 20. However much I try, it can't go faster than 20. Now that's annoying if it gets the speed limit wrong, but in this case, I don't know, everywhere's a 20, right? The other thing is that although this rides amazingly and way better than a normal Puma, I can hear something. I can hear a little bit of road noise and a bit of humming. That said, it is again still quieter than the other one, the normal one. That's got quite a bit of road noise. Oh, we're in a 30 now, it's sped up. So with the insurance at £327 a year, cost of the car £233, then an 8-year warranty, 5 years free servicing and loads of storage, well, you've kind of got a bit of a no-brainer here, haven't we? Modern, urban, I don't know, have they hit the sweet spot? Over to you.